Good morning. Welcome to the Afrolatina show. I am Alicia Anabel Santos, La Diosa Dominicana. This is episode 18. And as I always say, this show is unfiltered, uncensored, unedited, completely raw. Um, there's no script. And so I want to just jump right in and talk a little bit about, finish talking about my dream with Gary Vee. Yesterday, I mentioned that he gifted me Candyland, the game. And so I didn't have time to really explore what the symbolism was behind that, but I went to our friendly Wikipedia, and here's what it says. It says that Candyland was founded or created in 1949. It's a racing game, and the storyline is about finding King Candy and the lost king of Candyland. And it has these incredible characters like Queen Frostine and Grandma Nut. And it's a board that's filled with color. Um, and so, one of the things that it made me feel as I read the descriptions was that I'm trying to find the line. I'm sorry, I didn't highlight it or write it down because this is unscripted. Um, okay. The game requires no reading, minimal counting skills, suitable for young children. There's no strategy involved. Players are never required to make choices, just follow directions. The winner is predetermined by the shuffle of the cards. So, I think what struck me about just the definition of the game, no strategy, players never required to make choices. And so, I found it interesting this morning that the image was of Gary Vee handing me Candyland, almost as if to say, here you go, continue to not make choices and just follow directions, and let's see how that turns out. Keep trying to play by other people's rules, and let's see how that turns out. How has it worked for you in the past? How has it worked for you to be a follower? And I'm not a follower, but in what ways have I played nice? In what ways have I followed the rules in order to make other people happy and um, while at the same time kind of like silencing myself. So I'm not done meditating on that because I feel like it's really powerful, that image, that dream, and this idea of not having a strategy, not having a plan, and not executing. And so I think that's something that I still need to process. But what I will say is that this morning I will be completely honest, today is day one of me writing again. Day one. And I have been writing, so I don't want to diss myself and say that I haven't been creating because I'm incredibly creative. I'm always finding ways to at least stay connected to my creativity, whether that's on Instagram by posting inspirational quotes. Like all of that to me is writing. It's creating. When I say I haven't written, I'm talking about even journaling, like sitting with my journal and filling pages with my words, with my feelings, with my thoughts. And I haven't done that. So today, I honor the fact that I started the artist way. I am officially committed to this 12-week recovery program, this creative recovery program. And so I'm beginning again. I'm beginning again because I feel like there are some things I need spiritually um, to fill myself with, to complete a lot of the things that I'm working on. novels, books, all kinds of things. I don't even want to share all the things, but there are some things. And so I'm going to open with. So I signed a contract. There's a contract in the artist's way, and the contract reads: I, Alicia Anabel, understand that I am undertaking an intensive guided encounter with my own creativity. I commit myself to the 12-week duration of the course. I, Alicia Anabel, commit to weekly reading, daily morning pages, a weekly artist date, and the fulfillment of each week's tasks. I, Alicia Anabel, further understand that this course will raise issues and emotions for me to deal with. I, Alicia Anabel, commit myself to excellent self care, adequate sleep, diet, exercise, and pampering for the duration of the course. Signed, Alicia Anabel Santos. So I'm going to jump in and share what I read in week one. Week one's goals. This week initiates your creative recovery. You may feel both giddy and defiant, hopeful and skeptical. The readings, tasks, and exercises aim at allowing you to establish a sense of safety, which will enable you to explore your creativity with less fear. Julia Cameron begins and opens with something she calls the shadow artist. One of our chief needs as creative beings is support. Unfortunately, this can be hard to come by. Ideally, we would be nurtured and encouraged first by our nuclear family and then by ever widening circles of friends, teachers, well wishers. As young artists, we need and want to be acknowledged for our attempts and efforts as well as for our achievements and triumphs. Unfortunately, many artists never receive this critical encouragement. As a result, they may not know they are artists at all. Parents seldom respond. Try it, see what happens, to artistic urges issuing from their offspring. They offer cautionary advice where support might be more to the point. Timid young artists, adding parental fears to their own, often give up their sunny dreams of artistic careers, settling into the twilight world of could have beens and regrets. They're caught between the dream of action and the fear of failure. There, there, caught between the dream of action and the fear of failure, the shadow artists are born. So, how do I feel about that? Well, immediately, the thing that rose for me was there are people who have attempted to kill my dreams. There are people in my life who don't believe that writing is an actual job, um, that this dream is somehow um, frivolous, frivolous, idealistic, a hobby. Get a real job. Get a real job. Make some real money. The writing, push that to the side. I'm thinking about the year was 2001. 2001. 9/11 happens. I remember this day so vividly. September 11th was a Tuesday. I was driving to my job. I worked for Bacardi at the time in Miami on Biscayne Boulevard. I'm driving on 95, 95 South, and my sister calls me. My sister Josie calls me. It's so funny, she just texted me. Oof. Make a wish, yo. 11/11 just passed. So my sister called me, and we were we always had conversations every morning while I drove to work. And so she would catch me up on like whatever gossip things were happening, things going on with her. And so this particular day, she was watching the news at Good Morning America. And she says, "Oh my God, mom, oh my God, I'm thinking about my daughter too. Oh my God, Lee, a plane just crashed into the Twin Towers." I'm like, "A plane just crashed?" I'm like, "That's crazy. Perhaps, the pilot was had a heart attack." I didn't want to think that the pilot was drunk. Like, what the fuck? Shortly after, she says, "Oh my God, Lee, a second plane crashed." As soon as she said that, I said, "Yo, we're under attack. We're under attack right now." I don't remember what happened after that. I went to work. I was there. Things were happening at the Pentagon, Virginia, um, everywhere. Like, there were all of the things that happened on that traumatic day. I remember being home from work and just kind of holding my daughter, and September 11th played on replay every single day for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then all of the names of the people who died, loose for their spirits, all of the people who died, the people who died in the World Trade, the people who died in rescue efforts, the people who died just in the street who were walking. I mean, just the visions were traumatic. And you didn't have to be in New York City underneath the debris to feel the trauma of September 11th, because while I was in sunny Florida, I was completely fucking broken down. And I kept thinking, oh my God, our lives can be taken in an instant, in a moment, when you least expect it. And so I began to think about how I've been living my life. I began to think about what legacy I left for my daughter. Like, what significant things, what significant contributions have I left or will I leave my daughter if I died suddenly? What would she know about me? This was when I decided that I wanted to write her a memoir. It came from spirit. I wanted to gift her the story of me. At that moment, I hadn't declared myself a writer. I had never taken a writing class. Um, I wasn't even journaling at the time. The last journal that I kept was in the 80s when I lived in New York. Probably that was the last time I wrote. Now, this is the first time I'm saying that shit out loud. I stopped writing when I left New York. When I left New York in 1989. That was the last time I picked up a pen. Oof, shit. Um, so I decided that I was going to write Courtney the story about me, because what I wanted to do was let her know the truth about who I am. I didn't want someone else to tell her their version of me and the choices that I made and the people that I slept with and mistakes I made and all of that shit. It was important for me to tell her the story about me with all of my truths and all of my dirt. I was going to tell it to her. So what I did was I just kind of like took myself through this process of, let me just print calendars from January to December from 1989 to 2001, and just kind of plug in where I was in my life during those times. Oh, actually, did I go further? I might have even gone to 1971 and started documenting just kind of like where I lived. Like, what I was doing was plugging in. Where was I at this age? Where was I living? Who was I fucking? Da, 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 all of these things, right? And then I discovered that on my bookshelves, I had all kinds of books on writing. How to tell your story, how to publish your book, how to edit, writing from personal experience. I had a bunch of books on writing that I had been collecting over the years, but had never paid attention to. Interesting how the universe works, right? September 11th, 2001 fucked me up forever because it was the thing that while devastates us, it devastated us. It was the thing that happened to help me to find my purpose. October 3rd, 2001, a couple weeks after September 11th, I'm sitting in bed with Courtney. We're laying down. I'm reading a book. She's reading a book. She's reading like Nancy Drew or the other, like, girl hero book. I can't think of the name right now. And as I'm reading, writing from personal experience, there's a line that reads, everyone has a story. Everyone has an important story to tell. Everything in your life is a story. And the moment I was reading that, I stopped and I said, oh shit, I'm a writer. I looked over at my daughter and I said, I'm a writer. And she's like, I know, mommy, you're going to write me a book. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm a writer. She's like, I know, mommy, you're going to write me a book. We're going to be rich. You're going to buy me a house with a McDonald's and a Carvel. She didn't understand that that was the moment that I realized what I was called to do, to tell stories. Beautiful moment in my life, right? That aha moment, that epiphany. When you want something, the universe aligns, right? The alchemist. When you want something badly enough, the universe conspires in helping make it happen, in helping to make it happen. As soon as you take that step, they say, as soon as you take that step towards your dream, doors will open. You become to get attracted to the thing. The thing attracts to you, right? Like a magnet. I went to work. I told my coworkers, Lydia, Libby, 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 I'm a writer. Told her the whole story, everything that happened with Courtney. She was so excited. She was so touched. She wanted to help me. She wanted to gift me something. She told me, Alicia, I just read that there's a book fair coming and there's a competition. I'm going to go home. I'm going to find it. I'm going to bring it into you. You have to apply to this. She brought it into work. The very next day, she found it. This is how the universe works. And she says, look, this is for you. It happened to be happening like that very weekend. So I named it and things started to open. Things started to come to me. I had 3 days to write 30 pages to submit for a competition being hosted by the Miami Book Fair, where the winner would work one by one with prestigious authors, international Latino authors, at this Miami Book Fair. And they were going to have a panel of power hitters, um, from Simon Schuster, from publishing houses in Latin America, internationally. I was so excited. I felt like, oh my God, this is a sign. Everything is aligning. I took some personal time off from work. I took 2 days. And in 2 days, I just wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I was so excited I had something. It was definitely a shitty, what Anne Lamott calls a shitty first draft. It was like shittier than that. But I was so excited and I was so passionate that I was just creating and getting something out there. And the whole point was that I wanted to do it, to get it done, to go for it, to say, fuck it, to leap. I shared it with someone very, very close to me, someone that I love and respect. And I remember this day too. I remember getting a phone call It's funny. The person is actually calling me right now. That's fucking crazy. So, um, I was driving when the person, when he was giving me his feedback. It was pouring. It's one of those like downpours in Florida where you can't see shit in front of you. That let me not fast forward the story. It was pouring. Horrible. He goes on to tell me how the story wasn't good, that no one was going to care about my background or my parents' background and their love story because I was writing about my experience, right? I was writing about their beginnings. I was writing about them coming from the Dominican Republic to the US, how they met. Like I was writing the story, my story, how I came to exist. And here I had this person on the phone saying to me that that shit was whack, that no one was going to read that, that motherfuckers don't even read. They're not going to buy this story. Went on to tell me all these statistics about Latinos and publishing and how Latinos don't buy books and they don't read and all this other nonsense, which back then there was truth to that, right? There was truth to like statistics in terms of, you know, like who are buying books and entertainment. And I'm not, that's not even what this show is about. This is about the folks who attempt to kill our dreams. In that moment when he told me that my shit was whack, first of all, two things happened. I never wanted to speak to this person again because you don't believe in me. And two, I write like a motherfucker and I never stopped. Now, whether it's shit or whether I have that, you know, incredible book deal, that's still on its way to me because I'm still called to do a lot more work. Um, but I realized today that I am in creative recovery because while I'm strong, that shit hurts. And there are people in our lives that, you know, while they may believe that they are well intentioned, what they are doing is killing our spirit. And that is directly connected to the fact that they are unfulfilled. Because when you are someone who is living in your light, when you're living in your power, when you're following your passion, you shine. And so we shine. And so I have no need to try to crush your spirit because what I want for me, I want for you. But there are a lot of folks who are very, very, very unhappy with their lives and they aren't out there going for it. And so today I am in creative recovery because, and I have to begin again because I kind of, what do they say? I fell off the wagon. I fell off the wagon. How? I haven't wanted to write. And why haven't I wanted to write? Because there are people around me who don't believe in me. It hurts to admit that, but there are people who are very close to me, who I love dearly, who don't believe in me. And so today I started writing again, and I'm very, very happy about that. And I'm not going to share what I wrote, only the meditation part. When you know you are worthy, when you know that you can, when you know that you deserve this, when you know that you are gifted, when you know that this is why you were put on this earth, when you know that you can't fail, when you know there is nothing stopping you, when you know that the words always come, when you know you were born for greatness, when you know that your past doesn't define you, when you know you are loved, what do you know? So today, let's close with our intention and our meditation. Let's close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Get comfortable. Put your hand where you need it, on your heart, on your throat, on your head, on your womb, on your thighs, wherever you need it, wherever you need that medicine, that power. Take a deep breath. Take several breaths. I want you to think about all those people who have tried to kill your dreams. What have they said? What have they taken from you? Now I want you to see yourself doing it, going for it. I want you to think about what you know. When you're ready, I want you to come out and together. I want you to write. I want you to write. I want you to write the things that you were feeling, the people who have the naysayers, the dream killers. I want you to write all of that, right? Then I want you to release it. And now I want you to set your intention. And I want you to do this with me like real time. Like I want you to vibe with me. And so my intention and what I know is that this shit is hard. What I know is that there are many people who will not be for me. What I know is that I can do this. What I know is that every single time I take a step, the thing that I most want comes to me. What I know is that I am unstoppable. What I know is that my faith carries me. My intention for today is to walk in my power, to not allow anyone to dim my light, and to be open to what I'm receiving. Ache. Have a good day. Peace.